This is Dolynny TV, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another edition of Edmonton Oilers discussion here on the channel today. And me, oh my, you know what? We're getting close to it. I said it in the Connor McDavid video. I now am going to talk about how close we are to training camp. Guys, the middle of September, early mid-September. I mean, what are we? So close to that September 7th game in Red Deer, guys. Oh, can you taste it? Ooh, I can tell you it smells like fresh ice and a couple of beverages at the rink. That's it. Let's get on with it. I can sit here and fantasize all about hockey season as it comes to a head right away here soon. Or we can get to the last remaining little bit. That is the break between August 20th or so and September 15th. Yes, the PTO signing window. Guys, this is where very few contracts get handed out, other than to tidy up a couple of things. We obviously saw Patrick Maroon get tidied up. Now the question is about Patrick Marleau, who I am not going to talk about in this video, as much as maybe you might like me to. I really don't see the value there. I understand the value in the leadership stuff, but the game, in terms of a role he'd have on this team, just isn't there for him to be had. And Patrick Marleau, do it right. Let him go to San Jose. Let him finish his career where it all started. Let Cali Rudy shake his hand for the final game. Hand him the career jersey, whatever you want. Finish it in San Jose. That's all I got to say there. So with that said, let's move on, ladies and gentlemen, to the three candidates I'm looking at as PTO candidates. I've done it before. I've kind of went three cheap UFA wingers kind of deal the Oilers should sign. That was a hit video back in June, I think, maybe. But now today I'm going to talk about one guy and two others that we should be looking at as PTO possibilities. And this is exactly where it's going to get fun for us. So let's go get number one. And I'm actually surprised to see him still out there. I thought he would have definitely been signed at some point. But every day, checking sportsnet.ca, I've not seen his name mentioned to a team or a contract. So let's get Mr. Ben Hutton's stats up here, who started his career at 22 with the Vancouver Canucks. Had a fantastic, depending how you look at it, rookie year with 25 points and minus 21. Remember, Vancouver hasn't exactly been great like the Oilers haven't been either for the past few years. 15, 16, 16, 17, 17, 18, and 18-19. Ben Hutton's been right on that damn average of about 20 points a season. I mean, other than the down year in 17-18, every year a minus player. I don't know how much I pin on the Canucks, how much I pin on Ben Hutton, because I don't know how much I've very rarely watched the Vancouver Canucks. And when they're beating the Oilers, they're usually beating the Oilers. That goes without saying. So for the Vancouver Canucks, Ben Hutton left, not really offered a contract. I don't think even tendered a qualifying offer. He was an RFA, if I'm not mistaken. So why? Why Ben Hutton? Why would I suggest Ben Hutton? This is in a complex world where we've got Joel Person, Evan Bouchard, Caleb Jones, William Legason, Ethan Bear, and probably another two or three prospects somehow going to come out of the closet and find a role maybe. Why would you sign Ben Hutton to a PTO? This is, if you're going to find a deal where, oh my God, you bring a guy in and he signs elsewhere, that is going to be Ben Hutton on the Edmonton Oilers on a PTO. That's kind of my feeling. But the reason you do this is to have that extra competition in camp, right? If Clefbaum gets banged up in a game, you've got a guy that can kind of lead a team out there, right? Not necessarily lead, but you get where I'm going, right? A guy who's kind of maybe that middle ground, Chris Russell, second pair dude, that's going to go out there and do the job, fill a spot, find a role, find it elsewhere kind of deal. And that's totally fair. That's what a PTO is all about. If you're not signing here, you hopefully are signing somewhere else. Please, I hope you do. But with Ben Hutton, as I said, it's a fill-in. You might get a game, you might get two. That's about as lucky as you'll get, and you're gone somewhere else. Hopefully. That would be the play. And if not, if you really impress, man, maybe the Oilers trade Chris Russell. Maybe the Oilers trade Matt Benning, you never know what's going to take place in training camp. What happens if a Matt Benning or Chris Russell gets injured and you have to fill that hole with somebody who is seasoned NHL blue line help at damn near 275 games? Well, Ben Hutton, right? Now you're starting to see the logic. So that's my logic there on PTO candidate number 1, Ben Hutton. Now you go over to PTO candidate number 2. And guys, I've already talked about this. I alluded to this in my other video. You're going to see some stats here. He was drafted by the Edmonton Oilers, played 3 years here, went to Cast-Off Island, Cast-Off Nail Yakupov Island, Cast-Off Magnus Prv Svensson Island as well. In terms of our man Magnus Prv's stats right here, he absolutely lit up that first year in Edmonton in terms of being a rookie and what they do for us, and it was all good dandy. 2010, 2011, good times. Then all of a sudden, 8 points, 16 points, and away and off to St. Louis Magnus Prv went. I honestly don't remember much of it. I was very, very busy in 2012, 2013, running my own show with Cold Lake Ice. Guys, if I have gaps, that is the season I have gaps. I do apologize. I wish I had more memory, but it is what it is. So then Magnus Prv went to St. Louis. Didn't do much of anything there either. And then ended up in Ottawa the past 2 years. Found a little bit of a role this past season in a crappier Ottawa team. Read into it what you will. Why do you bring Mr. Magnus Prv into the fold in Edmonton on a PTO, guys? That's the question here. Obviously, I bring it just to have a little bit of fun with it. You know what? We're a totally different team. We are fully removed, almost, other than Kevin Lowe, from the team we were in 2012, 2013. You've got Nugent Hopkins, sure. But other than that, we're fully pretty much 99% removed. And there you have it. That's a reason to tie up a loose end, get Magnus Prv out there. And guys, where would he even be competing for a lineup spot is the question. Well, there's one lineup spot that kind of is being held open, and that's the spot that Tomas Jurco might steal. And that's exactly where Magnus Prv comes in, right? If you want the best guy for the job, bring in a PTO candidate, same as the next one I'll talk about, and that would be Magnus Prv in the spot where Tomas Jurco is competing, whether it be the 12th, 13th, or 14th forward. Bring him in, let him do some damage. And for Magnus Prv, even if he ends up in Bakersfield, guys, that is not worst case scenario, because I would much rather prefer, honestly, even though everything that's gone on in Prv's career, everything that's gone on with the Oilers, I would much prefer Prv over Brad Malone in our lineup in case of emergency 10 times out of 10. Fair enough? Let's move on. Number 3, the last one I'm thinking about, same thing, Tomas Jurco's spot kind of deal in the competition bureau. Here we go. Let's get to it. And where is he in my lineup of things? Riley Sheehan, your stats are on the screen. Let's talk about you, buddy. As we go here, Riley Sheehan, who started his career in Detroit 2011-2012. The next year only played 1 game as well. Then you've got a 24-point campaign, 36-point campaign, 25-point campaign, 13-point campaign. Traded, well, didn't do much in Detroit, but had 32 points on a very good Pittsburgh team that year. I believe Pittsburgh didn't win the cup that year because, guys, that was the year. That was the year Washington won the cup. But the years prior, right? Obviously, the year prior, he was over in Detroit. Fair enough. Is what it is. You guys are commenting on the videos. That's what that was. Guys, I lost my train of thought. That's why I got all mixed up there, petting the cat, enjoying the cat. But come on, she's the star of the show. However, Riley Sheehan, same thing. I don't have to go over this a million times like I did with Prv. It's the Tomas Jurco spot. Compete for that 12th, 13th forward, depth forward position. Kind of the Brad Malone 13th, 14th position if you would rather have it. And the worst that happens, either he signs elsewhere, or he's in the minors, or you've got him on the roster. That's the worst. And Sheehan, a guy who's mathematically put up some points over his career, 19 points between Pittsburgh and Florida. I mean, he's only 28, 27, so not realistically that bad. Guys, but I'm going to stop there. I've already talked about these guys enough. I kind of killed the Sheehan discussion with PRV because it's the same exact attitude. But now let me know, what are your thoughts on who the Oilers should sign to a PTO? Should it be Marleau, Gardner? Who should be the Oilers' target for a PTO here, a PTO there? Let me know in the comments section down below, guys. I'm Tyson. This is Dolynny TV. She's Zap. I am up on out of here.